Pretty well. The auction market has been stable the last 2 weeks, so that's in regards to stock. There's been about 1,800 auctions this weekend, the same as the weekend before. The clearance rate across Australia's capital cities is hovering at about 73% right now. There was 1,800 homes auctioned. It's a good result, but it's still below the 2,400 homes auctioned the same weekend a year ago. So the market still has a bit of a ways to go before it gets back to 2019 levels. Melbourne held 600 auctions, about the same number as the week before. Preliminary clearance rate in Melbourne was about 72%. And in Sydney, there was about 850 auctions in Sydney. This is about the same again as last week. Preliminary clearance rate a little bit higher in Sydney, about 79%. So the market is continuing to improve. And after 5 months of house prices in decline, in October, they started to go back up again. And that's obviously good news for sellers.
Absolutely great news for the property market, Ed. Now, Joe Biden, of course, he's the presidential-elect. How has this been received by US markets?
Well, over the course of last week, as more and more of the votes started coming in, it became more likely that President-elect Biden would win the election. US markets climbed pretty sharply, and the Australian market followed. Our market climbed 4% by the end of Friday last week. And we've seen some research from AMP Capital chief economist Shane Oliver. He's looked at US markets' performance since 1927, and apparently, when there's a Democrat president in power, the return over 1 year for the US market is about 15%. So that opposes to when there's a Republican in power, the return is about 9.8%. So the Wall Street is, if his research is correct, in theory, US markets should go up about 15% over the next 12 months. But there's another thing to it as well. When there's a Democrat president and the Republicans control either one of the houses of Congress, the market actually goes up about 17%. So that is the situation that we are in at the moment. So we could actually see American markets go on quite a strong rally now over the next 12 months. They also do very well immediately after an election. So over the next couple of months, we should see some big strength in the US market. And then if this research from AMP Capital's Shane Oliver's right, we could see the US market climb about 17% over the next year. And that's a good thing for the Australian stock market as well, Danica.
Well, that's massive if that certainly is the case. We'll be sure to watch out for that one. Now, Ed, just finally, what is the local stock market expected to do today?
Local market today is expected to rise about 0.25%. We did have a big gain last week of 4% over that 5 days of trading. So it's really, I think it's just in wait and see mode. US markets will open later tonight, probably around midnight or 1 a.m. is when American markets will start trading. And then we'll get a steer from them for early tomorrow's trade, and we'll have a better idea of the market reaction to the presidency tomorrow morning.